Hey everyone, let's talk about the Arabian Peninsula. It's a huge desert, but it's also super important historically and culturally. Way before modern countries existed, it was a busy center for trade. Routes went across the desert, connecting the east and west. It wasn't just about buying and selling stuff, though. The peninsula was also where civilizations were born. When Islam began in the 7th century, the peninsula became a holy place for Muslims all over the world, especially Mecca and Medina. Over time, different empires came and went, each leaving its mark. The tough desert life shaped the Bedouin tribes who traveled all over. They were tough and really close-knit. Basically, the peninsula's past set the stage for the big changes that were to come. Okay, so in the middle of the Arabian Peninsula, the Al Saud family started their rise to power in a place called Nejd. At first, they were just local rulers. But things changed big time in the 1700s. Muhammad ibn Saud, a really good leader, teamed up with a religious scholar, Muhammad ibn Abd al-Wahhab. This was a game changer. Ibn Abd al-Wahhab wanted people to go back to the original teachings of Islam, and lots of people agreed with him. This partnership was super important. The Al Saud family gained religious support, and their power grew across the region. This is how the first Saudi state began. They controlled more and more land. This first Saudi state, started in 1744, did well for a while, but it had problems with other powerful groups. The Ottoman Empire, a big deal back then, saw the Saudis as a threat. The Ottomans attacked to stop the Saudis from getting bigger. Even though the Saudis did well at first, the Ottomans were stronger and ended the first Saudi state in 1818. But the Al Saud family didn't give up. In 1824, Turki bin Abdullah bin Muhammad Al Saud started the second Saudi state. The Saudis were back. But this second state also had problems, fights within the family and pressure from outside. It fell apart in 1891. Now things get interesting. In the late 1800s, when things were messy, a new leader came from the Al Saud family, Abdulaziz bin Abdul Rahman Al Saud, also known as Ibn Saud. He was a big deal. Ibn Saud was a great warrior and planner. He knew how tribes worked. In 1902, Ibn Saud and his loyal followers took over Riyadh. This was a bold move, and it was just the start. He wanted to unite all the different parts of the Arabian Peninsula. Ibn Saud was good at talking to people and fighting. He knew how to handle all the different groups and their rivalries. For the next 30 years, he led a lot of battles and slowly took control of the region. Other tribes and countries fought against him, but he never quit. His goal was simple: a united and free Arab nation. By 1932, Ibn Saud did it. He united most of the Arabian Peninsula. This was huge. It was the birth of Saudi Arabia. The name was important. Saudi honored the Al Saud family who brought everyone together. Arabia showed the land's long history. The name Saudi Arabia wasn't just a name. It showed Ibn Saud's dream come true: unity, freedom, and Arab pride. It was a major turning point for the area. The world quickly learned the name Saudi Arabia. It meant a new beginning for the Arabian Peninsula. It wasn't a bunch of separate areas anymore. It was one united country. Then they found a ton of oil there, and that changed everything. Saudi Arabia became rich and powerful. It became really important in the Middle East and the world. But the name also carried a lot of history. It showed the Al Saud family's influence and their understanding of Islam. The name Saudi Arabia meant tradition, but it also started discussions about who they were and how they were ruled. Today, Saudi Arabia is a major world power. Oil made it rich and modern. Everyone knows the name Saudi Arabia. It's a country dealing with modern challenges. Saudi Arabia is still super important in the Middle East and the world. What it does with oil, religion, and other countries matters a lot. As Saudi Arabia changes, it carries its name, history, and legacy into the future. The story of how it got its name shows how important history, strong leaders, big goals, and finding your identity are in making a country what it is.